kati defilement tulina bbiri waliwo je tuyita defilement kati je tugambye nti if you have a sexual act with a person below the age of 18 nga kikomyawo below the age of 18 you are liable to life imprisonment. Basobola okusiba life imprisonment mu mateeka. Then waliwo je tuyita aggravated defilement. It is punishable by death.
Mbabuuzako mwenna abatulaba nze Jonas Entongo mbaniriza ate n'ateeko mukutu gaffe omuganzo gwa Tindi Files gwene yakatwenga kugendera ddala mu maaso n'okubanga ate osubscribinga eno ensibuko y'ebirungi ate era n'ebyesanyu. Well, gye buvudde story ey'amaanyi ennyo eze erabika ku mukutu gimugatta abantu eya Hajji kw'ossa ne Hajjat ng'alumiriza Hajji we okubanga ate yatuusa obuliisamaanya ku muwala waabwe. Ensonga eno ezze egobererwa so olunaku olwaleero twesitudde zambwa wano ku Elgon Associate Advocates okubanga ate kanso naheebwa atulambulira ensonga eno. Defilement kitegeeza ki? Twawuliddeko Hajji ate essaawa zino omwana gwe balumiriza nti yamutuusako obuliisamaanya yavuddeyo neesula n'ategeeza ensi nti ekikolwa kino tekibangawo era Hajji tamutuusangako buzibu bwonna. Yes, twesitudde twagala okumanya lwaki essaawa zino ate Hajji akyali mabega wa mitayimbwa. So kanso naheebwa buuza ku bantu tutandike ate ne olunaku lwaleero.
Yes, abatulaba amanya n'eddoboozi nahabwe Precious nva mu Elgon Advocates era ku nsonga yennyini kwe tugenda okutandikira buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe nga bannamateeka kye kimu ku buvunaanyizibwa bwaffe bwe tulina mu public okunnyonnyola abantu biki ebikwatagana ku mateeka kubanga etteeka lyo likisaawo nti buli omu alina okuba nga amanye etteeka. Amateeka gano bwe bagafulumya ne bagateeka mu lujjudde baba bamanyi nti buli omu agamanyi. Kati everyone is presumed bwe kiteeka mu luzungu to be knowing the law kubanga bagasaasaanya ne gabeera public nti bw'oba oli agalodde accessing olifuna. So naddala gino emisango gy'okuzza emisango gino gy'obumenyi bw'amateeka ebeera mu Penal Code Act ate Penal Code Act osobola ogifuna wonna ne ku system ku online ku ebiri. So naye nga abamu tebafaayo oba babirekera ffe abannamateeka ebiseera ebisinga n'abapoliisi ba CID ababinoonyereza ku misango ne babirekera zikooti okubanga ze zisoma nnyo gano amateeka okugamanya. Naye kati ngaffe abannamateeka ate tulina obuvunaanyizibwa okuvaayo ate ne tunnyonnyola abantu ku nsonga zino ez'amateeka ne tutegeeza nti kati bwe kiba kiguddewo ate bwe kiggwawo osobola okunnyonnyolera omuntu n'ategeera because in most cases oli kiba talannakirabako tasobola kumanya nti ate gyekiri ate abamu babikola ne bakola ki ne batamanya nti ali mu kuza omusango. So kati defilement ensonga zino nga bw'ozinnyonnyoddekeza Hajji. Yes, defilement eyo eri defined nti kasita okola performance of a sexual act kasita having a sexual act n'omwana tanaweza emyaka 18 awo automatically oba okoze omusango gwe tuyita defilement. Oba omwana akkiriza oba takkiriza oba omukwanye n'akkiriza kasita abanga tanaweza 18 years ebeera defilement oba oziza omusango.
Kansolinda mukatini. Defilement nayo egendera ddala mu maaso n'okubanga okwanye bukwanyi omwana atanneetuuka.
Yes, olina okudifferentiatinga between rape ne defilement. Kati rape yo ogikola ng'omuntu aweze emyaka 18 is above 18 but has not consented to the sexual act. Enjawulo eriwo naye waliwo era ababikola byonna omwana ali below 18 era n'omukaka. So that is ebeera defilement teba rape. But the reason is nti omwana tanaweza 18 years legally takkirizibwa tasobola kukola consent. You understand? That's the reasoning. Nti below 18 years you don't have the capacity to consent to a sexual act or to consent to any other act, be it contractual, be it any other engagements. oba tokkirizibwa. Kyova olaba you cannot get married below 18 years. That means marriage is a contract. That means you don't have legal capacity to make a contract. Waliwo contracts oluusi ezimu ze bakkiriza abaana okukola naddala ezibayamba let's say okufuna school fees, ezibayamba okufuna basic needs of life like food, clothing and education. Ezo oluusi babayamba. Waliwo circumstances we bakkiriza abaana okuyingira mu contracts nga tanaweza 18 years. For example, employment actually. Employment omwana akirizibwa bw'aba ali 16 years to enter an employment contract.
16 years to enter an employment. Ekitegeeza omwana w'emyaka 16 asobola okukola bulungi. Era waliwo incident era ya Pretty Nicole ebadde etambulawo mabega kaawo. Bamuvunaana okuba nti ssaawa zino omwana emyaka 16 lwaki abagenda maaso n'okukola.
Exactly. Kati bo appearing in a video as a video vixen guba mulimu. Ate bwetwalaba ku birth certificate ye fe abaakola ku misango gye. Era birth certificate ye twagirabako bulungi bwe twakola ku misango bwe bamukuba bwe twali mu kooti y'ekira. Twalaba nti she was born in 2008. By the way, abantu abalaba Pretty Nicole bw'omulaba ku kamera olaba ng'omuntu omukulu. But when you look at her physically, she's a young girl. There has been that discussion. Muwala mukulu, mulaba mukulu. No, when you look at her, okiriza. So she was born in 2008 kusiza ku birth certificate gye twalabako. That means she's 16 years. That means she can ably be employed either as a video vixen so long as it does not. Waliwo kye tuyita mu mateeka nti kye tuyita wabeerawo a principle then wabeerawo exception yaayo. Nti yes tugamba nti omwana wa 16 years asobola okukola, but you cannot work in conditions as exposing to sexual exploitation or pornographic materials. So a discussion in that lero tubadde kuki child defilement.
Awo wenyini ku defilement. Kanso twagala otumenyemenyeremu ku forms ez'enjawulo eza defilement.
Yes. Kati defilement tulina bbiri. Waliwo gye tuyita defilement. Kati gye tugambye nti if you have a sexual act with a person below the age of 18 nga kikomyawo below the age of 18 you are liable to life imprisonment. Basobola okusiba life imprisonment mu mateeka. Then waliwo gye tuyita aggravated defilement.
Yebetya.
Aggravated defilement now comes in where someone has had a sexual act with someone below the age of 18 years but infected her or him with what? HIV. Defilement is not about women. Actually, we also need to clarify on that. If a woman of 20 years or 30 years or 40 years performs a sexual act with a boy, a male child below the age of 18 years, performs the act of defilement. So it's not a one way. We also have to clarify that. People may think that defilement only comes in when it's a man.
Nsaba kusalamuko kirimi. Omanye bwero y'abantu balina endowooza eno egamba nti omukyala atakwata musajja. Ate n'ogenze n'okuwona ku nsonga yo gamba nti omukyala omukulu bw'agenda mu nsonga z'obukaba n'omwana omuto atanneetuuka. Lwaki abantu balina eno mentality egamba nti omulenzi taba na ngeri yonna gy'akwatibwa oba gy'aleetebwa kubanga agenda mu nsonga zineeno ez'obukaba?
Kati ogenda bimixinga nga bwe nakugambye. Waliwo gye tuyita rape ky'ogamba okukwata. Waliwo defilement. Yero gye tuliko bagiyita ki? Defilement. It's not kukwata. Oli mukazi olina emyaka 4 okanyiza tomukute okanyiza n'omwana w'emyaka 16 mulenzi. You understand? That is defilement. Oba akiriza oba takiriza. You understand? So that's the difference. Rape is different from defilement kubanga kati the reason why they say a woman cannot rape a man is that the male organ does not react if you have not sexually consented. You understand? Naye kati wano onaja kukiriza wa myaka 16 you perform a sexual act, automatically you are in defilement. So aggravated defilement tugambye kasita infecting an HIV, kasita or having a sexual intercourse with a child below 18 years ngali disabled. So you see it's a double incapacity. You're below 18 years and you're disabled. That becomes aggravated defilement. Now the difference between the other defilement and aggravated defilement is that the other one is punishable by life imprisonment. Then aggravated defilement is punishable by death.
What's the difference between life imprisonment and death?
Death kaba Kalaba. Okay. You are supposed to be hanged. Though in Uganda there is a discussion that yes, it is still in the law, but it's not a practice. Tebasinze nnyo kikola. Naye mateeka gye kiri era president yasayininga ku bipapula ebisembayo nga bagenda kuwanika. Naye basembayo kuwanika wano omuntu I think in 2000 before 2000 byadda. Weekali mu mateeka tekavangawo. Ndowooza president wa kisa tanabakola ki signinga because president's office is the highest appellate court bwekituuka ku Kalaba nti oyita mu processes zonna nova mu high court nogenda mu court of appeal nogenda mu supreme court era negamba bakutte nera papara president alina okubisayininga nakkiriza nti ki gundi bamutte. So president yowenkomeredde asalawo. So bw'oyita mu mitendera gyonna ate high court esobola okugamba bakutte, you have an automatic right okukola appeal mu court of appeal era tasobola kutta nga toyise mu process. Onogenda mu court of appeal nogenda mu supreme court then the president nakola nakitunulamu. So it's a hard process. Naye nga bw'oba okuperforminze aggravated defilement nga bwe tukinyonyodde you a candidate bwe gukusinga of death baba basobola okutta. Then the other conditions zileta aggravated defilement, if you have this parent-child relationship or this fiduciary relationship where you have authority over someone, then that one becomes aggravated defilement. If you have nti omuntu omuyinako obuyinza nti ajja kiraba kwegamba okugaana kwe kujja kuba kutono nnyo because you know a lot of influence about this person. If you are the guardian or if you are the parent, because you have all the capacity and authority over your child. You understand? We have been battling with this other case of silver unit, where a gentleman of 20 years is in a video telling a baby of 4 months or 5 months that you perform a sexual act. That if he was the father, he could perform a sexual act with a baby of 4 months. Now, imagine a baby of 4 months. How will that person refuse to consent to that act? You understand? There is no option. But even if it's not 4 months, even if it's 5 years, you're the father. What happens? Will the child refuse?
The child won't refuse.
You understand? So then the other issue is when the child is below 14 years. It is automatically aggravated defilement. Because the impact of a sexual act of someone of aged 15 years is not the same impact of someone who is 7 years. At least 16, 17, maybe someone is maturing a bit, the punishment is a bit lenient, which is life imprisonment also. But if the child is 12 years, 9 years, 4 years, below 14 years, it becomes aggravated defilement, and the punishment is death. Yeah.
Counsel, what are the penalties of defilement? Penalties zibanga obukwakulizo?
No, penalties is no zenyini. The life imprisonment, the death death sentence. Those are the penalties.
Kati omuvunaanwa abeera eyenyigidde mu defilement act eno ayina rights ki okubanga atebenkera nga mu ngeri gy'abeera avunaanwa nti aziza ogwa defilement?
Kati
rights ze,
any person bwe baba bakukuta omusango, first of all basooka kunyonyola lwaki baze kukwata, because rights zitandikira ku arrest. The moment they come to arrest you, that means they are first of all taking away your right to personal liberty. So before they can arrest or put you in a police cell at that particular point, balina okunyonyola musango ki gwokoze. At that point you have a right to talk to your relatives, you have a right to talk to your lawyer, you have a right bw'oba nga bakutuusiza mu kooti okusaba bail, okweyimirirwa. So all those are the rights of any person aba akwatibwa mu musango gwonna. Actually any case you found in, you have all the rights to these things. Yes.
Tuddeko ku sayidi y'okuba nti obujulizi bujulizi ki obusaanidde okuba nga bwe buli igwe omuntu okugendera ddala mu maaso n'okuba nga ate ovunaanibwa amateeka?
Now if we are using defilement as a case study, we are looking at, we talked about a sexual act, meaning the evidence should be, one, the child, the person, the victim must be below 18 years. So you must prove that. That's the first evidence. Number two is that there was a sexual act. A sexual act in the law means penetration of a sexual organ. Now, people even confuse penetration and ejaculation. Someone may claim, I performed the act, but I did not finish, so I did not commit defilement. No. The moment you penetrate with the sexual organ, automatically you have committed the offense. Whether you finish, whether you don't finish, whether it was half penetration, that automatically causes, it's one of the things you have to prove. What was there any penetration? So sexual organs, penetration does not only talk about the sexual organ, the vagina or the penis. It goes ahead to talk about the mouth, penetration to the mouth, penetration to the anus, however slight. Then it goes ahead to say that even if you use any object, if you use like a pen to penetrate a sexual organ, let's say you have used a pen to penetrate a vagina, that automatically also is defilement. So these issues of for us, we didn't have this what. So if you are collecting evidence of this particular nature, most especially like what should be available, as we have said, so you look at the age of the victim, you look at whether there was a sexual act, and the sexual act is very clear. There has to be penetration, either to the vagina, to the mouth, or to the anus. However slight it is, it doesn't have to finish the whole sexual act. Then you also have to consider the fact that who did it, the issue of who the sexual act was performed by who. You have to connect the accused person to the what? To the offense. Now that's where it needs instant reporting in most cases. When the act has been committed, you have to immediately report or seek medical help so that at least the evidence can be gathered before it is destroyed. Like it is an instant act where you need to instantly report. If you don't, or you take a shower sometimes you make it very hard for proof of these offenses. Kireeta obuzibu bw'amaanyi okuprovinga nti wabaddewo sexual act. If you shower and they cannot link the semen that maybe was dispersed in your sexual organ by so, because this person will deny in most cases. Now, if this person denies, what happens? Because he will say, you have no proof. They will say, now, the semen...
Ate banene abakwata obubina ku bubina bw'abakyala mu kibuga.
Touching the bum can be termed in another way. Let's say sexual harassment, but it cannot be defilement. It cannot be termed as rape, because there is no sexual act, there is no penetration. You have not touched the sexual organs, but it can be termed as sexual harassment. You can give it another term, but it cannot be. It does not amount to, let's say, defilement or rape.
Okay. Relatively related to evidence. Lwaki essaawa zino Hajji avunaanibwa okuba nti yadifilinze omwana, essaawa zino akyali mu nkomyo, ng'ate muwala we gwe tumanyi ng'obujulizi yavuddeyo n'ayogera n'akkaatiriza nti Hajji tamutuusangako buliisa mwanya buna.
Okay, now I think we need to clarify on this. Obuzibu bujja nti gwe bw'oripoting omusango ku police nga complainant, omusango teguba gugwo. Kasita okola report, government takes over. You understand? Nti emisango gino era ne bw'ogiraba guba Uganda versus Governor. So the person to prosecute this case is Uganda, not you. So these are offenses against the state. You understand? Not against the individual. These are offenses against the state. That's why they deploy a state attorney to prosecute this case, the DPP, to prosecute this case. So, even if you are the complainant, you have reported this matter to court, police. The moment they receive the evidence, you are only a witness in that particular case. Oba mujulizi. Ekitegedde. So, nebo ogamba nti kituufu omusango benaleeta nali bya bulimba, processes must be followed. Bw'ojja n'ogamba, because state has to use you as a witness at the end of the day. If you have gone to police, actually oyinza okuba nga akyogera mu media nga tanaba kukola na additional statement ku police. Ku police yabawa statement ndala ne mu media ayogera kirala. That's different. So if you feel like you're the complainant, yes, omusango tukiriza nti gwa state naye nga gwe mujulizi. So kitegeeza nti bw'oba oyagala gujjayo okola kye tuyita additional statement, because state nayo ejja kulemerera okuprosecuting omusango nga toliiwo okugiyambako okuwa obujulizi mu kooti okutegeeza ebyaliwo. You understand? So bw'okola additional statement, the process is that now you write to the DPP kubanga yayina power, authority, withdrawing omusango. The DPP is the only person kye tuyita no prosecute aba losing interest in prosecuting a case. Biwagamba byali bya bulimba. So the power is vested within the what? The DPP. Not you as the complainant. When you say nze kasita ompadde compensation, ompadde $5,000,000, nze nkitadde. You understand? The case no longer belongs to you. The case ate DPP asobola okugaana n'agaana okuwithdrawing nga alina abajulizi abalala. Alina abajulizi abalala na officer abagenda okusiini ne ba finding out what happened. They can come and testify in court as witnesses who are there. Ate bw'alaba nga obujulizi obulala bw'alina wa submitting a medical report, nga asobola okubesinga ku ebyo ebiriwo already to prosecute the case. Osobola ogamba nti nze gujjeyo, DPP n'agamba no, these are cases against the what? The state. you are not supposed to be in public. You belong to jail. Because next time you will defile another person. Next time you will rape another person. Next time you will kill another person. That's why the state is very interested in these matters, because it is protecting the other people. If you have stolen someone, if you have stolen a phone, then you have to be removed from the community. That's why they give custodial sentence, so that at least they withdraw you from the society. They go and rehabilitate you to be a better citizen. In prison, they withdraw you from the public to protect the other people.
Naye ensonga lwaki omuvunaanibwa ku nsonga za defilement oba rape tawoleza wabweru, awoleza munda, ate ng'obujulizi bubadde tebunnaba kubanga ate bukola ki, buleetebwa mu kaseera ako?
No, kati bw'obanga oli mukomera nga bwe twagambye nti you have a right to apply for bail. Maybe the issue is, where do you apply for bail? If it is a capital offense, as we have seen, let's say aggravated defilement. If it is aggravated defilement punishable by death, all cases punishable by death are triable by High Court. Now, in most cases, you appear before the magistrates' courts, osoka mu courts eza wansi nga bacha collecting obujulizi bwe buwera ne bakusendeka mu High Court for trial. So magistrates' court do not have the jurisdiction, the powers to give you bail for a case of aggravated defilement, because it's punishable by death. It's of a capital nature. Now, you have to make an application in High Court to ask for bail if you want to testify as you're coming from home. The only way to testify ng'ova wabweru kwe kufuna bail mu court. Bail kitegeeza nti bakuwadde temporary freedom. Buli kooti bw'eba ekwagala ojja kukola ki? You have to be around. That's why they ask for sureties abakweyimiridde nti bw'obula tukwate bano bakuleete.
Kyuka basobola obbakwata tebo ne babasiba mu kifo kyo.
Kati bw'obanga weeyimirira omuntu ate n'abula, then osobola okuyingira mu ngaato ze oba n'ogenda n'okola ki? N'omuleeta. So that's why they ask for sureties abantu abakweyimiridde nti ono ojja kukakasa nti kooti buli weewe mwagadde ajja kulabikira mu kooti, because you're presumed innocent until either you plead guilty or you're proven guilty. After the case, you're convicted. So osobola okubeera ne temporary freedom. So these capital offenses include murder, aggravated robbery, aggravated defilement. Ezo ziri triable by High Court, era bail ogijja mu High Court. So nti otera okulaba nti bail ekaluba nnyo mu High Court okusinga mu Magistrates Court. Wabaawo circumstances ezongera bwako mu High Court. You have to either be of advanced age, you have to have maybe an illness problem, you let's say you have a medical condition, then maybe you have been on remand for 6 months and you have never been committed to High Court for trial. That's, you have compulsory bail. You have compulsory bail as per the Constitution, that if you have been on remand for 6 months and you have not been committed to High Court for trial for a capital offense, you can apply for mandatory bail. So you only have 6 months in the Magistrates Court to be referred to High Court for trial. If they don't, then you have compulsory bail. Then in these other offenses, which are not punishable by death, you can seek bail in the Magistrates Court. Now, the same process applies, that you can give your evidence, you can testify ng'ova waka. Osobola okutestifyinga ng'ova waka. So, bw'oba tonaba ku applyingira bail, oba kooti tenagikuwa, ate si kyateeka nti bajja kuwa bail. You understand?
Osobola
ogikuma. The only right you have is to apply for bail. You have a right to apply. But it is the discretion of court. Court esobola okukuwa oba butakuwa kusinziira ku by'ogiwadde. In High Court, we consider your age, we consider your health, then whether you have been on remand for more than 6 months and you have not been committed to High Court. Though, of course, still discretion belongs to court. If it sees that your sureties are capable to bring you or to produce you in court whenever they want you, then you can get out.
But manyi if at all bagenda kuwa bail balina confiscating ebintu ebikwogerako kati ng'ebinasobola okukubuzaawo mu ggwanga nga passport. Awo tebabeera contented nti ojja kubeerawo era ojja ku appearing before the court.
No, now this question still remains, depends on the surroundings of the case. Most, like for example, detaining your ID is illegal. It's not allowed. Yes, your ID after bail, you should just provide a photocopy and retain your original copy of the ID. Then for passport, in most cases, if they look at the circumstances of the case that you are capable, you're a flight risk, you are capable of flying out of the country, getting out of the jurisdiction of court, then they can confiscate your passport, your travel document. But if they feel like the offenses do not really, you're not a travel risk, then, because there are some people without a passport. So does that mean that person won't receive bail? You understand that? But if you are at the level that you don't even have a passport, then you're not even a flight risk. That means because they will not say for you to receive bail, it's not a condition that you must deposit your passport, because there are many Ugandans, I can assure you, who without passports. They don't even need to leave the country.
Kanso, katugeze kachesawa zino ku kesi ya Hajjat ne Hajji gye balimu. Hajjat na failinga o producinga evidence eraga nti Hajji ddala kituufu yenyigira mu nsonga zino. Osuubira ate amateeka gayinza okyukira Hajjat n'avunaanwa mu mbeera eyo?
Yes, waliwo kye tuyita malicious prosecution. Nti bw'ovunaana omuntu mu bukyamu. Malicious prosecution wateekeddwa kubaawo judgment ng'eraga nti wawangula omusango. Baakuvunaana mu mateeka mu criminal n'owangula omusango. Kati oli wa ddembe okwekubira enduulu mu kooti ya civil. It's a civil matter. You file a suit ng'osaba damages. Namala ebbanga bweriti ku remand, mwantambuza nesasula balooya, nasaasaanya miliyoni let's say 4 in the process. No saba bazikudize. Naye tosobola kuwaabira complainant individually. Actually, the right person to sue is the government, because I told you that this is a matter between Uganda versus the victim, the accused person. Now, the complainant is not the one who sanctions the file, because there is a stage where a complainant brings a complaint, then the lawyer of the government looks into the file and confirms that really what you're saying is contrary to what the law says. The actions of the accused person are in breach of the law. The state confirms, takes it up, and prosecutes. It's not the complainant who prosecutes. It is the state that prosecutes you in court. That's why there are always state attorneys on behalf of the DPP prosecuting these cases in court. You don't even need to hire a lawyer if you are the complainant, because the state already has given you a lawyer. You can only hire a lawyer who comes on watching brief to appear to support the state. But already the state is already there handling this matter. So that means you can only bring in you first sue the Attorney General as representing the government of Uganda. Then you sue the complainant as the second, let's say, defendant, but high responsibility is on the government. And the defendant will have a defense, will say, no, for me, I presented my case in court and the government took it up, it prosecuted you. Therefore, the responsibility is for the state. Yeah.
Okay, kanso nga tumaliriza ku nsonga eno tweyanziza nnyo okubanga ate olambuludde ensonga z'amateeka. Omanyi abantu bangi nnyo eyo tebamanyi bintu bino gye bitambula. Omuntu wawulira ekkooti atyemuka omutima ng'ebyamateeka talina n'akamu yadde kakola ki kamanyira. Nange kyamukisa mulungi nsobodde okubaako n'ebintu ebimu byenkoze ki byensobodde okuyiga. So nga tusiibula, osuubira Hajji essaawa zino ajja asobola ofuna obwenkanya?
Of course, ajja bufuna, because babanga atesemu okusaba kwe okwa bail, let's say these people who are saying that whatever they said was false, bwe bagenda ne bateeka an additional statement, ne bakola review of the charges wa DPP. If the DPP sees that really actually what the victims are saying were actually false, nti kati basazeewo ne boogera ekituufu, amazima gavuddeyo, era DPP aba ne right okugamba nti omusango mugyeyo, Hajji n'afuna obwenkanya bw'aba teyakikola. Naye bw'aba yabizza ng'obujulizi bwe buli bajja mu charginga. Naye bw'aba teyabikola, era obujulizi bujja kumwejeereza akole ki? Afune justice. Era step etera okusookebwako kwe kusaba bail. Ajja akirizibwa any offense bakirizibwa okusaba bail. Then okugikuwa eba discretion, kisinziira engeri gy'omatizaamu kooti nti ojja kubeerawo buli kooti bw'eba ekwagadde. So in Uganda here, justice has always been delivered. It can delay a bit. Naye courts zimala lwakuba nti oluusi courts nazo ziba overwhelmed with a lot of cases. Emisango ne gibanga egiteekinze long. You see, with the media we deal with instant issues eziriwo. Then when the case lasts for 3-4 years, the public moves on, my friend. So these cases we normally see the start, but we rarely see the end. Why? Because at that particular point, you're talking about this subject. Next week, there will be another topic. And automatically, you forget about this case.
From this one,
we start another one. That's the media. That's social media. Because people will not stay on one issue. Now, justice will be served, but in most cases, it does not come out to light. That's why the story of he has been remanded, it is always a headline. But if he has been released, maybe he has been exonerated of the offenses, you'll never see that headline.
Kusaidi ene ya Hajjat kuba maziga ga Hajjat gano nago ge yakaaba era wateekwa okuba nga waliwo ekikulu ekyaliwo ekikosike.
Simanyi ne Hajjat simumanyi, so I cannot talk about what her side is, what the other person's side is. For us, we only look at generally amateeka gagamba ki, ebirala bwe banabanga bye boogera mu media babiteese mu paper, ne babitwalayo ku police ne bakola za additional statement oba ne bawaayo obujulizi, kooti ye ejja kusalawo.
Eriyo ndowooza atulabe yandiyagadde okufuna endagiriro yo musobole okuba nga ate mukwasiganya. Elgon Advocates Associates basangibwawa enamba y'essimu?
Enamba y'essimu eri 0701 086 442. Era tuli ku Buganda Road. Yeah.
N'olw'ensonga ngenda kuba ate mbasibulira wano, ndowooza musobodde okuba nga ate muyiga omanyi abantu bangi ku social media kuno boogedde ebigambo bingi, ate kino ate kiri. So nno leero twesitudde ne tuleeta omukugu mu nsonga z'ebyamateeka. Ndowooza programu eno wogimaliddeko tosigadde kyekimu, musobodde okuba nga ate munnyonnyoka ku ngeri ebintu bino gye bijja okuba nga ate bitambulizibwa ddala. Nze Jonas Sentongo, nkoze ne Lawrence ku kamera, omukutu Tindi Files, mubeere bulungi, mweraba.